rent. You got to know what you're renting. Number one, a lot of times people rent the cheapest PA, which usually never does the job because it's usually not powerful enough. If the venue's a certain size. The second problem you get is then you have to worry about returning all that stuff. So not only did you spend money on gas to get to the gig, well, the next day or the Monday or whenever, you have to spend that gas money again to bring the equipment back, right? And lost equipment, that people always lose a cable. Oh well, we got to charge you for the cable, stuff like that. Um, so for your first gig, I know everybody wants everything always so grandiose. Focus on just having the music perfect, right? Once you have the music perfect, not perfect in the sense perfect, but like that you can get through every song. You're going to probably your first gig because you're going to be super nervous. You're going to forget lines. You're going to miss vocals. And we'll talk about the vocal thing in a minute. You're going to miss all kinds of stuff, and you're going to mess up. And don't take it personally. That's just it takes a while to really relax on stage. For me, when I go to a stage, I don't get nervous because I always say in my head, I know my job. What am I nothing to worry about. I'm more long as everything sounds good and stuff like. And the thing is you have time when you're doing your sound check. Even if you only have a 15-minute sound check, take 17 minutes. You know what I mean? Don't rush into the songs. Everybody does that when they're new. You see it at jam nights all the time. That's why I like jam nights for just kind of getting that, shaking the cobwebs out of you to see what it's like to be on stage. And you're only up there for 15 minutes. So it's a lot less pressure on you. And you just show up, and a lot of times the equipment's there, and you just, use what's there, and you don't have to bring anything. Keep it cheap, right? Maybe you bring your own guitar or whatever. So when you get that all booked out, and your guys are ready to go. The other big problem I remember with some bands was taking forever to be ready to go. It's like, like if it takes you more than a month to get out on to a gig, like be ready to play a gig, you're probably not ready to play a gig. If it takes you 6 months to, we got to get the show perfect, whatever. I remember one singer, I think he was had a little bit of stage fright. Not bad, but a little bit. I think he was a little bit, because oh no, we're not ready yet. My vocals aren't ready. It was like, dude, Steph, you're doing fine. Don't, whatever. And I remember the bass player's like, we finally got a bass player because we have 2 guitar players, the drummer and the singer. And like everything, nobody can ever find a bass player. But we found this one bass player. What the hell was it? Real big guy anyway. Looked like a 300-pound Duff McKagan. That's the best way I could describe him. Real nice guy. Him and I, we had so much fun on stage, him and I. Just like, he had, we're head banging and everything like that. He was very animated on stage, which I'm like, yeah, that's great. That's what we want, but he was such a huge guy. But anyway, he's like, yeah, sure, I'll join you guys. When do you think you'll be ready for a show? He goes, can you be ready by the end? We should be ready by the end of the month. I mean, the first time we jammed for 8 hours straight. Like this guy just clicked with us. And, well, I really liked him anyway. And anyway, but he was a band slut. He was a bass player. So it's like he had 5 other options. You know what I mean? And he was like, oh, it's going to take you guys more than a month to get, he goes, that's too long, man. He goes, we got to be, let's run through this, let's spend the weekend, run through this. We basically slept at the warehouse and just played and played and played. And then we got it. It's like, okay, this is a little bit rough. That's a little bit, we'll make it through. Yeah. Let's book the gig. And, I remember I was like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Let's, not going to live forever. Let's do this. Right. And some of the other band members were a little bit hesitant because they needed a little bit of a push, and I didn't want to over push because my number one rule is have fun. That's going to be the whole gist of this. Is doesn't matter what level you're playing at, have fun. And I remember saying, yeah, guys, look, if we mess up a little bit, who cares? And I remember that first gig that we did with them was fantastic. Like all notes were accounted for. Yeah, we might have messed up a little bit here, a little there, but the girls in the miniskirts dancing in the audience didn't care. You know what I mean? Yeah, we like that. We like that. I'm not gonna lie to you. Or I was on. It was the night. Yeah, the other guitar player's Reg. He goes. I want to play on the other side of the stage, just see what it's like. Yeah, and I said, yeah, sure. I'll jump on the other side, right? Because I was never fussy about what side of the stage to be on. And of course, that was the night where all the girls were dancing in front of me. The other guitar player looks at me. Of all nights, eh? And of course, I played spectacularly well. I had my hammer Diablo, so of course everything sounded miraculous, incredibly well, incredibly good, and stuff like that. I love that guitar. I do miss it. It was a good guitar. That guitar probably had 270 some odd shows on it. Just that guitar alone, right? And I don't know how many times I've been on stage since then. Maybe a couple hundred times. So maybe 500-600 times I've been on stage my entire life. So I've seen things to do, things not to do, and you can never cover it all in one video because it's kind of one of those things you think about it at the time. This is a big one. You're gonna laugh because I've seen this happen many times, even happen to me. You're so excited or so nervous or so whatever to get playing. You go to play and there's something wrong with your guitar. You can't figure it out. Check your plug jack. Did you put the darn, where is it? Oh, sitting on it. That, okay, see those little buttons there, those little grooves? Yeah, those right there, they got to go click for that to stay into the guitar, just so you know. Or you get a really bad signal. It's like it falls out or whatever. But I've seen people like, they're all scared and nervous. And it's like, when you grab something, when you're nervous on stage, grab it like this. Don't do this. Do this. Hold your guitar solid. Push it in there. Make sure, don't break your guitar, but make sure it's in there. Make sure you get a good wow sound before you start playing. But even before that, this is a really important one. Tune everything before you go on to, even like if you get there early, check your tuning on everything. The guitars, the basses, everything. Tune it all. If it's noisy in the lounge, go outside the lounge. Go wherever you got to go. Go back, sit in the car or the truck and tune there. Get everything tuned up, then go do your tuning on stage. Because when you're on stage, it's a million times harder to tune. I've got really good hearing. But when you're trying to tune, especially a bass or something like that, when you've got people laughing over here, people talking really loud over here, people doing something else over here, you got dishes clanking, you got cups, mugs clanking, you got a ceiling fan going, you got a PA humming. Suddenly, it's hard to tune. Oh yeah, but I'll just use the tuner. Yeah. There is no such thing as a good tuner out there. There's none. They work great when there's no other noise or you're not on stage. But the second you're on stage, there's this stage gremlin. It shows up all the time, and it's like suddenly the tuner wants to do this. It's like it's shaking the maracas or something. It's like you were like before. It's like ding 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 ding, perfect. But when you're in the bar, it's like doing this. Because the second you're just about at pitch, a truck goes by like that by outside, and it registers that pitch and it puts you low, and then you overcompensate. Like it's stupid things like that you don't expect, and it's like you gotta have the patience for it. So take your time. You always have more time than you think, right? So make sure everything's tuned, and when everybody's ready, start your show. Like, when you're new at it, don't expect to just jump into it. Like when you watch a band, okay, it's like the announcer comes out, put your hands together for the Thunder Rockers or whoever they are, and then you hear bang, and then the bass player comes flying from the ceiling, the guitar player does this, quadruple duple loop thing, and the drummer's like swinging the sticks, and the singer's doing like David Lee Roth cartwheels coming out, and they're singing. You got to understand, they've done that 1,000 times. They've practiced it to the end of, to oblivion, right? So these guys, they know what they're doing, right? Like they're on autopilot. They've done it so much, right? So that's why it looks so seamless. You know what I mean? So when you see somebody really impressive doing something, whether it's a guitar player or singer, you have to understand that's muscle memory that you're seeing there. That's hours and hours and hours of practice, right? So that's why they got it good. Now, there's a difference between practicing in the jam room, and I've talked about this in another video, that people, when they're getting ready for the gig, okay, they play 20 minutes, then they take a break or whatever. No, run your set the way you would on stage. If it's because what'll happen is you run out of steam usually about the end of the mid second set when you're not used to it. Okay, is you run out of steam, and then it's really, you start getting sloppy now, because when people practice they take too many breaks. So when you start the set, finish the set. Take your 15-minute break or 10-minute break, whatever the bar would allow you to get, sure, fine. Or in my case, what I tell the guys, we play straight through 3 hours solid. We don't stop, unless you got to go take a piss or something. Yeah, just play 3 hours solid while you're rehearsing it. Build up that endurance, so when you actually do it on stage and you actually do get a little bit of a break, you're not as winded in the second and third set, and you can actually enjoy yourself. Now, that said, so tuning the guitars, making sure everything's in tune, that's priority number one until that is accomplished. Even make a checklist. Okay, is everything tuned? Yeah, okay. Now we do the volume check. The other thing is not too much stage volume. And the stage volume, this is a whole topic onto itself. I'll tell you it like this. Your drummer sets the stage volume. And your drummer is going to make or break your band, sound-wise. If you have a drummer that's really good, you could be playing in a church, or you can be playing in a stadium, and the guy knows how to moderate his volumes. It doesn't matter the genre of music, metal, rock, blues, jazz, doesn't matter. He knows how to moderate. And if you have a good sound man, okay, and you don't have too much stage volume, you can pipe everything into the PA